So many of you already know that a jury in the Botham Jean trial returned a guilty verdict, a unanimous guilty verdict against Amber Guyger, former Dallas police officer, and the verdict was murder. I think that's very significant. It wasn't manslaughter. It wasn't negligent homicide. So they had to believe that she murdered him. They didn't parlance with words. They didn't parse how they felt. They came back in almost 5 hours, so they were fairly certain. I think what matters here is that you had a diverse jury. You had 5 people who were Asian/Latin, 5 people who were African American, 2 people who were white. And those people came to a unanimous decision. This is important to understand because diversity matters. I think that oftentimes when you have these monolithic groups in there, they don't have to have any sounding boards. They can do what they want. Anybody behind a curtain by themselves are only going to make a decision that's very myopic, very narrow. I think I was frightened when I heard the judge say that it was okay that they can consider the castle law, which is tantamount to the stand your ground law. Standing your ground would have to be in your own house, right? If you're going to have a castle law, it should be at least your castle. I was horrified that they would return a verdict because so many times we'll have all this evidence and they will just deflect. They'll say, well, they did it, but they didn't do it on purpose. They said, and this, you got to understand this. This is a blonde, young white woman who cried. And that generally affects a result. When I was watching the trial, everything was going pretty badly. No defense would put the defendant on without anything to say other than it was optics. They get up there, they'll see this girl crying, it'll be bad. We'll garner some sympathy. But I'm gonna tell you, who's allergic to white women's tears is a room full of black and brown women. They're it's like their tears, their stares are like kryptonite. They're like, this don't work for us. They looked at the merits of the case, looked at the facts of the case, and deemed them murder. It was murder. You walked into a man's house. You didn't have to use force. You did. You said he was somewhere he wasn't. You didn't have any modicum of respect or concern about how he was doing. After it was over, you text your lover and say, I'm horny, as if nothing went wrong. I think that it was, when I was watching it, it wasn't even like you were thinking that you were dealing with a human. And what really bothered me is this wasn't on the mainstream news. I didn't see it. Like after the story broke, it took 45 minutes before I saw it on any news channel. I saw it on Twitter and Facebook. And I think you have to commend yourself if you stayed abreast of this trial, if you said anything, if you kept that man's voice and kept him alive in your prayers. We owe you. We owe you. Now, the day before yesterday was Botham Jean's birthday, and I said it would be horrible to wish him to say happy birthday and to say rest in peace, knowing that right now the woman who killed him is on trial for a murder and people are trying to parse whether she should get off or not. All I can say is this. I am sincerely sorry that his life was taken away from him. I am sincerely sorry about the pain that his family have to go through. I'm sorry that people will never know him, that he'll never have children. I'm sorry that we'll never see the measure of the man he would have become. But I'm so glad that his life didn't go by the wayside. I'm so glad that people took courage and prayer and whatever they could muster to make sure that the verdict was just. Now, I don't know what was in Amber's heart. I don't know what her thought was, but I know this. I can now say what I couldn't a day ago. Happy birthday, young man. I'm sorry you're gone, but I'm glad you got the justice you so richly deserve, and I'm so sorry for your family. Maybe we'll meet again one day. All right.